There are many ways to approach an MVP, and I advocate for this one step to be there every single time. My name is Till Carlos, and my team and I, we develop software projects. We document how we do so here on this channel. And today I want to talk about the importance of DB modeling. And the first reason is that this is actually a high ROI activity. And according to the book High Output Management, there the Danny Grove, the person who wrote it, he describes a breakfast factory. And in the breakfast factory, it's just that breakfast eggs and toasts are made. And he said the good decision making comes when you gather information early. So let's say if you cook an egg that's not good, it's better to know this early than later. It's the same here with our MVP. If we find something that we should know, something that could break the flow, something that could break something, then it's good to do this early. So this is why the first reason is to move this early in the process, so we gather information and can make decisions. First, we know the use case and we have customers ready to go. And without this, we should not even code an MVP. Then we define the database model to support this minimal use case. And now this is the thing that I'm advocating for. This is the thing we should move early in the process. And then any kind of surrounding tables that we need for this use case, we auto-generate the code in an admin interface. And this is the last step, which I'm going to talk about, which is super important. And only then we code the main use case. This is the expensive step. So if we have a problem here in our whole system, then we will find this early and we don't need to code the expensive step before that. So we don't need to redo something that might be too expensive later on. The second reason why we should do this early is that we have a basis to talk about with the UX. Let's say you're a UX designer, or your client hires an UX designer and they come with something nice like this one. And I just pulled a random nice example of a dashboard from Dribbble. You have a link here if you want to see it. If the client or the UX designer comes with this kind of design, you can already infer the database model from this. And if this now contradicts something that the client wanted early on, then you would see logically that this thing cannot be done with the model that you envisioned. And so the database model is a basis of discussion. And I also believe that every UX designer should have a basic understanding of database modeling. The third reason why we should use database modeling early is naming. And in computer science, there's this joke which says there is one thing hard in computer science. It is naming and off by one errors. So actually we want two things here, but the naming thing is totally correct, because let's say the MVP actually works and over time this thing becomes an actual product, you make money with that, and then you put layers and layers onto the current software and you add the database model, you make it bigger. There is never time to really do it right and to refactor. So whatever your tables you put into the MVP, you will probably have them for a long time. If you pick a wrong name and people are confused or they misspell it, or there's just always discussion why this thing was just named so stupidly, this discussion will go on forever. So better pick good names early. And there is a fourth reason, and this is actually was the basis of my video, because I found this and I thought, this is actually genius. It is super cheap to make an admin interface. So that means once you have the database model, you can already give this to the client. You can show them, this is our database. You can log in, you can see all the data. We put this on a staging environment or even on a production with a preliminary login, and the client can see, okay, something is built and the client feels under control. And this is actually cheap to do and it's a no-brainer to install, and we do it for all the MVPs. Right here, I'm using something called Rails admin. It looks like this and it auto-generates everything based on our database schema. We don't need to code anything extra. I had a discussion here with some people on Twitter. There's some other tools out there where you have to actually code and make it a bit nicer so it's more usable. But this particular thing here, Rails admin, is just so simple. You just do nothing. You just basically include it into your file here and you run one installer, and then you have this interface already ready to go. So it's cheap, it's a no-brainer to do, and it would really help you move this database model early in the step and put more time into that. If you want to know how to make MVPs in general, watch this video, which we have here for you.